So, as you must have seen, today is the eighth part of our discussion on the introduction to Advaita Vedanta. So, today many of you will go away cursing me because I am going to give you a headache like never before. Because amongst all these discussions we have had, this one has the most subtle reasoning. So we will see as we proceed. So first of all, why this subject we are discussing, Advaita theory of illusion? Because this is a precursor to understanding Adhyasa. Adhyasa, which can be translated as either superimposition or false attribution. So according to Advaita Vedanta, when we are seeing this diversity instead of seeing unity, what is responsible for all our problems? It is this Adhyasa. So this, we can say, this part is the part one of understanding Adhyasa. Now, knowledge is of two kinds. We all know. First of all, true knowledge. I am seeing this chair. I am recognizing this chair to be a chair. That is true knowledge, called prama in Sanskrit. Another is erroneous knowledge. What? Seeing a rope, thinking it to be a snake. Seeing a mother of pearl, also called a nacre, and thinking it to be silver. Seeing a mirage, thinking there is water. So all these are examples of erroneous knowledge. So true knowledge we have discussed. There are 6 ways of knowing: perception, inference, shabda, that is verbal testimony, all this. Now this illusion, it goes without saying, it falls under erroneous knowledge. Seeing something not correctly. Now there are various kinds of wrong knowledge. So you can see those who are here, they can see the slide. And for those online, I'll just share. So one is valid knowledge. Valid knowledge is prama, you can see on your screen. Invalid knowledge or incorrect knowledge, which is called aprama, can be of these types. One is dream, another is memory. Memory can be true also, memory can be false also. So the false memory is naturally incorrect knowledge. Then doubt. And next is error or illusion, which forms our topic for today. And the 5th is argument, tarka. So I will not go into detail because we have to concentrate on illusion, because that is the topic for our discussion. So now, before starting this discussion on illusion, we have to first understand what is the difference between doubt and illusion. So, aprama or wrong knowledge is apprehension of something having what it does not have. Simple as that. Now, amongst all these types of incorrect knowledge, the 2 main forms are error and doubt. When error is attended with certitude, means we are in error, but we are firmly convinced that we are seeing correctly. then it becomes illusion. So I am seeing the stump of a tree at night. I am going. Favorite examples of Advaita Vedanta, stock examples. It is dark, I am going somewhere, I am seeing the stump of a tree. I am thinking it is a stump or a tree. That is the case of doubt. I don't know. But when I am become firmly convinced that that stump of a tree is a man or a human being, then that doubt becomes illusion, because I am certain of my wrong knowledge. So when doubt is attended with certitude, it becomes illusion. When I am still cogitating, when I am thinking that it is a stump or a tree, it is doubt. But when I am firmly convinced that it is not a stump of a tree but a human being, I am convinced that the wrong knowledge is correct knowledge. That becomes an illusion. So false knowledge not based on the real nature of the object. False knowledge which is not based on the real nature. That is misapprehension or illusion, also called viparyaya in Sanskrit. So doubt is an indecisive cognition which is neither true nor false. When the mind is wavering between two contrary judgments, is it this or is it that? So Nyaya says, according to the school of Nyaya, doubt is the simultaneous awareness of contrary attributes in the same subject. Simultaneously means what? One after the another. So when I am seeing a stump of a tree, at one moment I am seeing the attributes of a human being there. Another moment I am seeing the attributes of a stump of a tree. So what happens? My mind is vacillating. What I thought earlier was right is right, or what I am seeing now is right. So when the mind is wavering, it becomes a case of doubt. So in fact, doubt involves two pairs of contrary judgments. Is it a stump of a tree or not? Is it a man or not? Okay. So doubt is a cognitive mode vacillating between conflicting options. It is, strictly speaking, non-valid cognition marked by indecision. It neither affirms nor denies, because I don't know. I'm still thinking. So it cannot be characterized as belief or disbelief. It is different from misconception. So doubt naturally cannot serve as a means of valid knowledge. Doubt may lead to valid knowledge afterwards, but doubt cannot be valid knowledge. So there can be doubt associated with any kind of knowledge, perceptual, inference, verbal. Perceptual means I am seeing the stump of a tree. I am thinking it to be a man. Perceptual. Inference. I am thinking there is smoke there, and I infer that there is fire there. But that may be a wrong inference. Thirdly, verbal testimony. Somebody tells me something. I begin to doubt. Is it true? Is it not true? So, doubt naturally cannot be completely eliminated from human mind as long as our ignorance prevails. Even Vedic testimony can be doubted upon. So there is no end. Anyway, our aim is to state the difference between doubt and illusion. Doubt is vacillation. It is A or it is B. But when I am certain that actually A is B, it becomes illusion. Okay? So now let us see the various theories of error. We will, as I said, we will be dealing only with one type of doubt here, that is illusion or error. So, erroneous perception or illusion is very common. This is called perceptual error. Perceptual means direct. When something is directly cognized, it can be through the eyes, through the nose, through the ear, no problem. And some nice smell is coming, I'm thinking it to be a cheese pizza, but it may not be that. So, what is directly cognized is called perception. And of course, we will deal with what we see here. So, in Advaita Vedanta, the implication of the term adhyasa, we will see later. Better to get familiarized with the term from the beginning. Adhyasa or false attribution is perceptual error. And it is with reference to perceptual error that the theory of illusion according to Advaita Vedanta is based upon. So error is counteracted by true knowledge, we know. Now, erroneous cognition is paradoxical. It is in fact a phase of ignorance which passes for knowledge. Because we have seen, doubt becomes certitude. So while in error, a person does not know that he is wrong. He thinks he is right. He detects the error only when he knows the truth. Like in dreams. When we are dreaming, we think the dream is true. We only know it to be false when we wake up. So as a Western philosopher has described it beautifully, error is that form of knowledge or that form of ignorance, not knowledge, ignorance. Error is that form of ignorance which poses to itself and others as certain knowledge, indubitable knowledge, or that form of false thinking which unhesitatingly claims to be true, and in so claiming substantiates and completes its falsity. So when a person is wrong and he keeps insisting he is right, it is not his mistake, he actually thinks he is right. So when he keeps insisting, actually he substantiates that he's just substantiating his wrong knowledge. He is putting a stamp of approval upon his ignorance, so to say. So the deceptiveness of error is also evident from the fact that it comes upon a person who hardly knows how he gets into it unawares. He doesn't know. Naturally, he doesn't know. If I am seeing a stump of a tree as a man, how can I know when the error came? Because I don't even know that I am in error. I think I am right. So naturally, when a person thinks he is right, there is no question of trying to find when did the error spring. So now the headache will start because we will go into very subtle reasoning. We will discuss the various different theories of illusion according to Indian philosophy. It is a fact of common experience. Every day we make some kind of error. But it is a standing puzzle to the human mind. Error is undeniable, but it seems to be inexplicable. It arises as a matter of course. We don't have to make an effort to be in error. No. There is no will involved here. It is difficult to say how it happens. So the various schools of Indian philosophy have dealt with the problem of illusion and given various explanations. Their interpretations vary according to their epistemological and metaphysical views. Each school has tried to maintain its position by answering the objections of its opponents and by refuting other theories. So just imagine the subtle thinking and simple error. I am seeing a rope as a snake. Now, to our ordinary minds, what is there to think about it? I am seeing a rope as a snake. So, what's the problem? But see, this simple error, what is happening? What are the psychological processes? What lies behind this error has been so wonderfully analyzed. It is unbelievable, I tell you. It is amazing. And we will be amazed by the wonderful power of analysis and rare power of logic, metaphysical acumen of these great philosophers of ours. So before we start the discussion, two terms we should know. First is the term khyati. Khyati refers to erroneous conception or false apprehension. Perceptual error, erroneous conception, false apprehension is the term khyati. And when we apply vada, after that, vada means a proposition or argument. So khyati is erroneous cognition and vada is proposition. So khyati vada is the theory of erroneous conception, erroneous perceptual knowledge, we can say. Because khyati means perceptual error. Okay. Because all these views of other schools, they all have this term khyati because it is a theory of perceptual error, you see. So khyati has to be there, khyati, because it is erroneous conception. So all the theories we will discuss deal with the nature of illusory perception. There are about 10 principal theories. 10. Just imagine. I am seeing a rope as a snake. Just this phenomenon, there are no less than 10 theories. Why is it happening? How is it happening? So, don't worry, we will just deal with the primary 7. Okay, so let us start. I will just give you the names of all these theories. Let me share the So all these names are here before you. Akhyati. Khyati is there everywhere because as you have discussed. First is akhyati, asat khyati, atma khyati, sat khyati, viveka khyati, anyatha khyati, and last of all, anirvachaniya khyati. Anirvachaniya Khyati is the Advaita theory. Okay, but we have a long way to go before we reach that. Yeah. Now see, first of all, for those who know Indian languages, this will be easier to understand. So simply separate the first part of the word from khyati. So first word is what? A plus khyati. Second will be asat, not true, khyati. Third will be atma plus khyati. So it will be simpler to understand. Now let us start. First we will discuss the doctrine of akhyati. Now means, in Sanskrit we have seen that many words when we add the meaning becomes opposite. Sat, true, asat, false. So here akhyati is in a negative sense. Means not. So what does akhyati say? Akhyati says that illusion has no objective substratum at all. When I see a rope as a snake, they say that it is completely objectless. The illusion does not apprehend any object at all. It is pure negativity. So what is their argument? Their argument is, let us consider the illusion of a mirage. When we see water where there is only sand. Now they argue, see the argument, what is the object of this illusion? If there is an illusion, there must be some object. It cannot be absolutely zero, but these people claim it is zero. How? They ask, when we see water in a mirage, what is the object of this illusion? There can be four things: water, absence of water, rays of the sun, or something else. Now, if you say water is the object of this illusory cognition, if water was the object, if water was there, then it would not be illusory cognition at all. It would be true cognition because water is there. So water cannot be the object. Okay, then let us say absence of water is the object. Absence of water. Absence of water cannot be the object because it is cognition of water which is inducing me to seek for water there. Okay, we say the rays of the sun are the object of the illusion. They say no. For in that case, it would not be an illusory perception at all. It would be valid because the rays of the sun are actually present there. So they say that this illusion is completely objectless. In Sanskrit it is called niralambana. There is no alambana or support. So according to the first theory, illusion is objectless, without any objective substratum at all. Okay. Now, how is it counteracted? How is it proved wrong? As I have told you, in philosophy, the wonder is, the interesting part is when we study one point of view, it looks absolutely logical. Now, how can this be counteracted? It's so logical. But it has some faults. This theory is not correct. Why? The answer is here, if illusion have no objective substratum at all, and if they are not excited by any external stimulus, we cannot distinguish one illusion from another. See, there are two types. Let us see two types of illusion. One is I am seeing the stump of a tree as a map. Second is I am seeing a rope as a snake. Okay, two types of illusion. Now these people say there is no substratum of either illusion. If there is no substratum of either illusion, either stump of a tree, there is no substratum, or snake also, seeing the rope as a snake, there is no substratum, then how do you distinguish between these two? How to distinguish? You cannot distinguish. So, if it is what you say is true, that there is no substratum at all of any illusory perception, then one kind of illusory perception cannot be distinguished from another kind. But we know that they are different. Seeing a stump in a tree is completely different from seeing a snake in a rope. But if you don't admit any substratum in either of them, how can you distinguish them? You cannot. So, this theory cannot be true. Again, another fault is that if you say that illusions are not produced by anything external, they say that there is nothing to produce this illusion. Nothing external. So if there is nothing external, then there will be no difference between an illusion and dreamless sleep. In dreamless sleep, there is nothing. The mind also goes out of action. So then, if there is no objective substratum in an illusion, then what is the difference between an illusion and dreamless sleep? In dreamless sleep, there is also nothing. So because of these two reasons, this cannot be true. This theory cannot be true. So these are very difficult to understand. So even if we don't understand the first time, no problem. When we go, think, hear it again and again, think about it, this will slowly be clear. So akhyati, the first view that illusions have no substratum at all, it cannot be true because of these two reasons. Now let us go to the next one. Next one is asat khyati. Asat means that which is not true. So from this we can get an idea of what this theory claims. Among the school of Buddhisms, the two most prominent ones are Madhyamika and Yogachara. Madhyamika is the Shunyavadi. Shunya means there is nothing. And Yogachara are the idealists. Idealists say that there is no external reality at all. It is all in the mind. So this theory of Asat Khyati is propounded by the Madhyamika school or the Shunyavadins. What do they say? That when we are seeing silver in a mother of pearl, silver in nacre, they say there is cognition of silver as real. When I think that a mother of pearl is a piece of silver, they say that I am seeing silver there. So they say that the cognition of silver is real. But in reality, there is no silver there at all. So this sounds logical to us. Yes, I am seeing silver, there is no silver. So when I go and see, I don't find any silver. So this theory is completely true. So what does the Madhyamika say? When you are seeing silver where there is no silver, in an illusion, we see something non-existent as being existent. Okay? Easy? No, sir. It's not easy. Hmm. As it will be proved here. Yeah. This is also not true. When we say that in an illusion, I am seeing something which is non-existent, it is not true. See, Madhyamikas, Shunyavadin souls that nothing exists. So naturally they will say that I am seeing silver, but there is no silver there. But this is not true. This is not what is happening here. What is the refutation? How is it proved that this theory is false? See the arguments. The Advaitavadin asks, okay, you say I am seeing silver where there is no silver. Now, Akhyati, the first one, says there is no object at all. But these people don't say that. They say you are just seeing something which is not there. Okay, so Advaitavadin asks them, what is the object of an illusion according to your theory? Is the object of the illusion completely non-existent? Like the stock examples of something non-existence in Advaita is what? Akasha Kusuma, flower in the sky. As we say castle in the air, so flower in the sky. So you are saying that I am seeing something which is non-existent there. Completely non-existent. So you are claiming that I am seeing something like a flower in the sky or a son of a barren woman. These are the stock examples. But it cannot be. There can be. Has anyone seen a flower in the sky? No one. Has anyone seen the son of a barren woman? No one. So what is absolutely non-existent can never appear in our consciousness. It is impossible. So if you say I am seeing silver but there is no silver, if silver is completely non-existent there, I would not have able to see it. So illusion cannot take place without a real object. Then again, another argument against this, what regulates the operation of such an impression? Seeing something which is not at all existing? It cannot be. So if you say that, in answer they say that I have a subconscious impression of silver. I have seen silver before. So I have a subconscious impression, and when I see that illusion, because of my subconscious impression of silver, I am seeing silver there. So Advaitavadin says, but how can there be any subconscious impression of an absolutely non-existing object? It cannot be. So there are other arguments also, but we won't complicate the issue. So sufficient to say here, according to the Madhyamikas, there is neither an external reality nor a subjective cognition. So there is neither any variety in external objects nor any variety in cognitions, because everything is a big shunya, zero. So there cannot be a variety of illusions according to, if their theory is correct. But there are variety of illusions. We have seen rope in a snake, silver in a nacre, water in a mirage. So this theory also cannot be maintained. It is not true. In short, this theory says you are seeing something which has never existed there. So Advaitavadin says something which has never existed cannot be apprehended under any circumstances, like a flower in the sky. Next we come to, at the end we will have a synopsis of each of these theories, so it will become clear. I know, in the beginning it is terribly confusing. Now let us go to the next one. Next theory is what? Atma Khyati. Atma Khyati is the theory propounded by another school of Buddhism, which is, I told you, there are two main schools, Madhyamika, Shunyavadins, and Yogachara. Yogachara means idealists. Who is an idealist? Who says that reality is entirely a mentally constructed, mentally construct. There is nothing outside. Something is there in the mind. We are taking it to be existing externally. So naturally, Yogachara cannot, by their very theory, they cannot admit that there is something external there. When we are seeing a silver in a nacre, they say that there is nothing external at all in the world, everything is here. So naturally, there is no external silver at all. Now, the Madhyamikas have said that silver does not exist there at all. But Yogacharas say that, yes, what you are seeing is produced by a subconscious impression of silver. You are seeing silver in a piece of nacre. So actually what is happening? It is internal, it is in your mind. It is produced by a subconscious impression of silver, which at some time or other arose in the beginningless series of ignorance. So that impression of silver had been produced by a earlier idea of silver and so on, without beginning. So according to them, the idea of silver is the result of a beginningless series of subconscious impressions. And owing to this error, this subjective idea which is in our mind appears to be something external. So note the difference between Madhyamikas and Yogachara. Madhyamikas say there is no silver anywhere, either in your mind or externally. But Yogacharas say you are seeing silver in a piece of nacre. But we don't say that silver does not exist anywhere. We say that silver exists in your mind. And because of your error, you think that silver is existing outside. So according to them, an illusion is not produced by an external object which is in contact with my eyes, with any sense organ. No. They say it is simply a projection of a subjective idea. This subjective idea of silver which you have in your mind is projected outside. So it is a purely subjective hallucination. Okay. It seems to be true. Yes, he is correct. In my mind there is silver. There is certainly no silver outside. So that mental image of silver I am projecting there. Simple. No, it is not so simple. Advaitavad refutes this, and with solid logic. How? See, according to this doctrine, a mere idea appears as all three. They say there is nothing external at all. So, okay, if you say there is nothing external, then when we are cognizing something, there are three things. Whenever I am seeing something, there are three things. First is I, the cognizer. Second is the cognized object. And then there is the cognition itself. So, according to this theory, a mere idea appears as the cognizer, the cognized object, as well as the cognition. So according to this theory, there is neither a subject nor an object apart from the ideas. Everything is simply a series of ideas. Thus, if in an illusion, now see, this reasoning is very subtle. Advaita says, if in an illusion, a mere idea of mine, which is inside me, was manifested in consciousness, and there is nothing external, then how do we think that this is silver? See, water in a mirage. We are traveling in a desert. Far away I am seeing water. Actually, there is no water. Now, this theory says everything happening in your mind. There is nothing external. If everything is happening in my mind, how do I say, there is water, let us go and drink it? How can we say there? That their expression cannot come. Because when we say there, it means external. If everything was in the mind, our experience should be, I am silver. I am water. Not there is silver or there is water. I think water is there, I rush to drink it. If there is external, there is nothing external, why do I say to myself, there is water? What does there mean? There means something outside. If there was nothing outside, I should have the illusion, I am water. Because it is in my mind, according to them. So you think about it. It is not easy, I know. Just think about it. It is very, very true. This reputation is wonderful. And they say, if all cognitions apprehended only their own forms and not those of external objects. Again, let me again make this clear. I am seeing a water in a mirage. Yogacara school says there is nothing external. There is no water externally. Everything is happening in the mind. We think it is external. So, according to them, all cognitions are being apprehended in their own form. If that is happening and cognition illusions are not being apprehended in the forms of external objects, then Advaita says, if your theory is correct, then tell me the difference between an illusory cognition and a valid cognition. What is the difference between a true cognition and a false cognition? A false cognition is when I see silver in a nacre. Okay, that's a false cognition. I am seeing silver in a nacre. But a true cognition is I am seeing a mother of pearl as a mother of pearl. So something external is governing whether my cognition is true or not. If you say there is nothing external at all, then how do you differentiate between a wrong cognition and a true cognition? Could you understand? See, again I am telling. I am seeing a lake where there is only sand. Okay? When I go, I see there is no lake. But suppose I see a lake where there is a lake. Okay? So when I see a lake as a lake, when I go, I find water there. But when I see a lake where there is only sand, what happens? When I go, there is no water there. So how do I know that my cognition was a false one? When externally I find no water. If I had found water, it would be a true cognition. So externally what is happening is governing whether my knowledge is true or false. Is it not? If there is nothing external at all, as these people say, they say that everything is in the mind, there is nothing external. If there is nothing external, then how do you differentiate between? You can't. So this theory cannot be true. So another objection against this, if again the forms of illusory cognition such as silver and the like were not those of external objects, but just mere forms of consciousness inside, then they would be apprehended like we perceive the cognition inside. What do we perceive inside? Pleasure and pain. When I experience pleasure, do I go and outside in search of pleasure? When I experience pain, do I search for that pain outside? I know they are inside. So if you say that the silver is also inside, the false water in a mirage is also inside, then how do we go and search outside for them? We should know it is inside. This I think you can understand. Because we are all aware that what is happening inside and what is happening outside. All the internal cognitions, we know it is internal, it is not external. So if we had known that water in that illusion is inside, I would have searched for water inside, not outside. This means this is not true. You say that the object of illusion is only in the mind, there is nothing external. It cannot be true. Okay? No need to get a headache. When you think about this, it will slowly this is really difficult, I admit. When I was actually preparing for this class at that first attempt I gave up. This is too difficult. But slowly it becomes clear. I could find only one book where it has been dealt with in a superb way. So just one more, then today we will end. Otherwise, next thing I'll know that you will be driving me out of this place. So number 4, Sat Khyati. Again, you can understand what Sat Khyati means by dividing these two words. Sat plus Khyati. Sat means real. So till now, what we have discussed, these 3 theories, first theory said there is nothing at all, akhyati. Then Madhyamikas also say more or less the same thing, second theory. Third theory says there is nothing external, everything is in the mind. Now Satkhyati, which is held by the great Ramanuja, you know Ramanuja, Vishishta Advaita, Shankara is Advaita. So Ramanuja says that no, all these theories are nonsense. We say that illusory perception has a real object for its substratum. A real object is there. It is not that silver when we see in a nacre, it is not that silver is totally non-existent or silver is only in the mind. No, we say that this silver has an objective existence. How? According to them, in the illusory perception of silver in a nacre, the silver that is manifested to consciousness is a real object. For an unreal object can never be apprehended. We have seen Akasha Kusum, flower in the sky. Has anybody seen? Nobody has seen. So they say if that silver was completely unreal, we could not have seen it, even in an illusion. So they say that silver is actually present there. Why? Why they say? What is their argument? Their argument is, if silver was not there at all, then that piece of nacre, that mother of pearl, we could have also thought that it is a jar, it is a cloth, it is anything, it may be anything. Understood? See, if silver is not there at all, then why is it that the mother of pearl is only appearing as silver? Why is it that I don't think that mother of pearl is a cloth or a jar or a human being, anything in the world? No, I think that mother of pearl is only silver. This means silver has to be there. It is going over the head, I can see. See, why don't I think that that piece of mother of pearl is a human being? Why don't I think that? It cannot be argued that silver is apprehended owing to its similarity. Because similarity will only revive the subconscious impression of silver. It will never lead to the perception of silver. This is your answer, Abaji. Now, this is extremely difficult to have a correct idea of this. If I think X is similar to Y, okay, just by thinking X is similar to Y, shall I see Y outside me? No. If I see Y is outside me, Y has to be outside me. You go shopping, you see a chair. You are shopping for chairs. A chair, you think that this chair is similar to the chair in my home. By this thinking, do you see the chair in your home outside? No. But here what is happening? We are seeing silver outside and trying to get it. Is it not? In a mirage, what is happening? A person is seeing water and is running to get that water. Just if I have the feeling that X is similar to Y, it is all happening in the mind. Shall I see Y outside? No. If Y is not existent outside, we will not try to get it. So that argument does not work, Abaji, sorry. So Ramanuja says it cannot be argued that only silver is apprehended owing to its similarity with the nacre. Because this similarity, knowledge of the similarity, will just revive the subconscious impression of silver, but it will not lead to the perception of silver. So they say it is the real silver that is the object of the illusory perception of silver. Now, how is it possible? Why they are saying that? How can you say there is water in a mirage? Actually, water in a mirage, how can you say? Because it is just sand when you go there. So they have an answer to this also. See, according to our philosophy, there are 5 elements, no? Earth, water, fire, air. So according to our philosophy, each element has an element of the other element also, has a portion of the other element also. So it is not that earth contains only earth, it has a certain quantity of fire also, certain quantity of water also. So they say, actually we say that in the silver there is the element of fire. And in earth, in Nekar, there is the element of earth. Prithvi, Ap, Tejo, Vayu, Akasha, we know all that. These are the different elements. So, in water, the Apa or the water element is the most. But it is not that there is no earth there at all. So, according to our thinking, Indian philosophers say that in the silver, the element of fire predominates. But in the Nekar, the element of earth predominates. But this does not mean that in the Nekar there is no element of fire at all. Since there is an element of fire at all, there is something of the silver there at all also. And that is the silver you see. Okay, makes sense? So that is their argument. That is their argument. But unfortunately, Advaita will prove that it does not make sense. How? They say, if the object of an illusion has a real existence, how can we perceive water in a desert? It is true that a part of water does exist in earth on account of triplication and all those processes. But the distinctive character of water does not exist in a particular earthy substance. Earth may contain water. Anything which has a predominance of earth may contain. This carpet has an element of water. We don't disagree. But the distinctive character of water will not be present in the carpet. There is no water. So they say, if there was real water in a mirage, then we should have found something which has a distinct characteristic of water. Element earth just has a little water, we don't doubt, but it is not sufficient to give it a distinct characteristic of water. And even if the distinctive character of water exists there, suppose, it is not capable of being perceived. This carpet has a predominance of earth, Prithvi. We agree, it may have a little element of water also, but is that little element sufficient to make that water perceptible? We don't perceive water in a carpet. Then how can you perceive water in a mirage? You can't. So your theory cannot be correct. Moreover, why are the now another very subtle argument. Okay. So they say that in the Nekar, which has a predominance of Prithvi or earth, we see silver which has a predominance of fire. That is their argument. So Advaita says there are 100,000 things which have a predominance of fire in them. Why do you see only silver there? Why don't you see so many other things which have a predominance of fire? Why don't you see a fire there? If it had actually existed there, if silver had actually existed there, all these things would have been possible. But so silver cannot exist. Actually, it cannot exist there. So your theory is false. So this theory also bites the dust. So see the subtle arguments. I find it so interesting because once you hear the opponent's view, you think, yes, nothing else can be correct. Ah. So Advaita has successfully refuted these. How many theories we've dealt with? Four. We've dealt with four theories. So our time is also, we've also exceeded the time, and you must be needing Tylenols by this time. So we will end here. So we will discuss next time two other theories, Viveka Khyati and Anyatha Khyati. And of course, then we will discuss how Advaita refutes them, and we will also discuss what actually is happening according to Advaita Vedanta. When we see a snake in a rope, what is actually happening? All these things are only trying to find out that. What is actually happening here? Is there a snake there? Is there a snake anywhere? Does the snake only exist in the mind? What is happening here? So some persons say, no, snake does not exist in the past, present and future. Akhyati, or the Madhyamika school, Shunyavadi. Yogachara says, no, it is not that snake is not there at all. Snake is there, but it is in your mind. It is not outside. Ramanuja says, snake is actually present there. So all these things have been refuted. None of them can be correct. Now the difficult thing is, then what is the Advaita view? It has refuted that snake is not present there. It has also refuted that snake is present there. So where does Shankaracharya is leading us? So we will see next time. Yeah, if any of you decide to come, maybe just by seeing the topic you will decide. So let us stop here. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ram Krishna Param